So the thing here's something I wanna ask. Have we got any good comments on the two deck profiles that have been posted at this
Um,
point?
I can check.
Did you could you hear us during Nick's? I really hope not.
Do you want me to tell you the answer?
The answer is yes, isn't it?
Very loudly. I can't hear what you're saying, but I hear like, "Oh my god," every like 3 seconds.
During part of it, we're like, meh, 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 three Hydra because it's a good card.
Good card. There are two comments on Sam's. Nice job, Sam, from Divin. And then the other, and Sam says thanks, congrats. And then on yours, Nick, from Joe is funeral. This man is my goat.
Oh, Joe is. I don't know who the fuck that is.
Let me see if I can recognize the profile.
Probably just some random guy who stumbled across a Rescue Ace profile, right?
Do you know about the warehouse case tournaments? Maybe.
Okay, stream your screen.
Here,
I got this.
the other comment was Sam, and he said this man summons Turb like no one's ever seen.
Listen, it's my superpower.
This is his channel. It doesn't have a picture of him. It just says it's
Oh
got like
no,
a.
that's no. Oh my, no. I know exactly this. This is my buddy. So I'll give the context. This dude's the goat. We played back during fucking Sword Soul format, and I was playing Punk Therian, and the only way I win against this guy, and it's the last round of fucking an indie regional, and I need him to activate Berserker on board to banish, um, to attempt to banish something, so I can go normal summon a tuner, summon back Chaos Ruler, make Pep, and go battle phase, and then hit him for game. I was like, only win con. I do one interaction. He goes, he's like, he's like, we'll go Berserker effect. And I was like, oh my god. And we've been friends ever since because we see each other at every event and we're just buddies.
That's fun.
He's the goat.
Oh,
According to
good.
him, you're his goat.
Let's go.
Howdy, everybody. My name is Grant, and I'm here with Nick and Noah,
Hello.
Hi.
and we are here to talk about YCS Quito that just happened over in Ecuador. I think it's Ecuador.
hmm
The Lansing regional report and the decline of my mental health. How are y'all doing today?
I had a great
They're
weekend.
laughing
You
because they know
understand? I don't
exactly
think
what I'm
she
talking
did.
about.
I'm doing excellent. I did way better than I thought I would at this regional. So,
MF takes a year off the game.
And
And
he's
does
doing better than you
He did better
are.
than me. Oh my god. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. So I guess we'll start with the regional results because I feel like that's what everyone's excited to talk about. That kind of goes hand in hand with my declining mental state. Um, I
How
have
about, how about you start then? Walk us through your weekend. What
so
happened?
I all of our lists is assuming Noah actually sends me his list this time. All of our lists will be available in the description down below. Nick has a
that's
profile up. He
right.
got I think 17th. I went like 1-3, and I was like, I can't keep playing Malice, man. This deck is so frustrating. I can't keep doing this. Literally, like on Death's Door, I think I got Charmied or Lancia every single post boarded game that I played that day. It was genuinely bad. It was so bad. So at our locals, I don't have a whole lot of enjoyment in playing at like table 900, against like Rogue. So if I go like 0-2 at locals and it's a 4 round locals and I go 0-2, I'll usually just like go home early and like hang out with my wife. Um, and so when I was at this regional, I went 1-3 and I was like, all right, I'm out. So I went home and I went to hang out with my wife at a regional for the first time. And so I
This
go
man
home
went
and
wife mode at a regional level,
yeah, I
and
know. We call
it's
it going
so
wife mode. It's very funny.
us
Some
speaking Lansing is so funny to actually watch it happen because otherwise Grant just like kind of just fumbles his way through the entire day. He's like, I don't want to keep playing, but I have nowhere else to go.
like, yeah, what else am I gonna fucking do? I could do a
Side
Winamat, I
events?
guess, but usually if I scrub out early at a regional, I just do a Winamat because I'll like change the deck and do a Winamat. There was one time I took Sprite Tri Brigade to a regional. This is in like May of 23, I think. I take Sprite Tri Brigade because I already had my invite and I didn't I didn't think I would do very well. This is post math mech hit, so I couldn't play math mech. Post super heavy hit, so I couldn't play super heavy. Um, and so I squad up with terrible deck, and I get my ass handed to me. I think that's the only regional I've ever like gone 0-3 at. It was fucking bad. And so I immediately go to a vendor, I buy an adventure core, and I immediately win a win I'm at.
It's like Adventure Sprite was a good deck.
I don't think it was. I don't think it
That
was.
okay. You know what? We can agree to disagree
So
based on the results of that Nats format.
oh, okay, buddy. You want to know? Two Adventure Sprite players did not do great that day. So at Nats of 23, the three of us, all three of us, took Adventure Sprite. Two of us liked Adventure Sprite far more than the third one. I won't say who is who, but I hate the adventure cards.
I want to make it very clear to
He's
you.
gonna make it very
I
clear. That's what.
lost. I did not do that well because I screwed round one and then proceeded to play against two runic stun opponents and then play against a Vanadium player who opened every single one of after I drolled him.
I mean,
Crazy.
sometimes Vanadium just has the mandate of heaven, man.
That
Um,
was before the good cards
that's true.
too.
You were playing like, was he playing like Vanadium Sprite, where he was playing blue with the balls, or what?
I don't even remember, man. It was stupid. I checked out immediately when he had everything after I drolled him. I was like, wow.
So I didn't have a particularly good regional experience. Um, the team did, however. The team had a really good. I think four of us
Hmm.
got in the invite range. Two of us like bubbled, not bubbled topping, but were like one match away from topping. I think Jenny
Yeah,
literally got 48th out of 48th.
She
yep,
did.
that.
Again, massive shout outs to Jenny and Drew. I think this is Drew's first invite, but I could be wrong, but I know it's Jenny's.
I think it's they're
Massive
both.
shout outs to those two for getting their first invites ever. So,
Yeah, I know. I think it's Drew's first, at least since he's been back to the game. So,
Hmm.
mhm.
this was like a regular fucking Saturday for Nick, apparently.
Yep. Well,
Nick, do you want to talk about your deck?
Sure, I can go next.
Okay.
So I was gonna like again. We talked about this last podcast. I was like, I'm probably just gonna play Fiends with Reza because everything else in the metagame just sucks. It's boring, yada yada yada. And then I was like sitting at home, putting everything together for the regional, and I was like laying in bed trying to decide what to play. And at 2 in the morning, I was like, you know what? Screw it. We're just gonna run race. I'm gonna throw for content. And then literally I show up and I go sick. I go 5-0 and then lose, and I don't lose to the sixth round. I'm like, what is happening? How is this deck performing this well today? And it genuinely just came down to the fact of people really didn't know what they were doing against my deck. Um, Truly, the Charmies, unironically, are some of the best cards ever designed ever. Like when people talk about people making half boards and you just crack half board, oh my lord! Like I played against a couple combo people. I charmed them. They ended on like two interactions, and Race just eats a board like that for breakfast. As long as you get to play the game, it does not care about those kind of boards at
Yeah.
all.
I have a really hard
that
time just like not playing a combo deck that's good at going second and just blind seconding right now. Like just so you get to dodge all the charmies.
Honestly, but no, it was crazy. I double charming a lot of people throughout the weekend. I got the resolve impulse almost every game because I would go charmy. If they had Ash, they Ash charm me, and then I get the resolve impulse, and the game was just kind of trivialized.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
card's pretty good.
Cards are good. So Nick
And
got
nobody's playing Valor right now.
no Valor's.
Yeah, what's funny is you say this, and then because you and Jenny are like people made the commentary about like playing this deck. Oh, it's good. No one's playing all the outs. I got hit with back row hate like 4 times, or like 2 or 3 times actually. I'm over exaggerating. 2 or 3 times, and I got Valor slash Impern like 3, and I was like, that was genuinely more than I anticipated because a lot of people like you're saying are cutting those cards, but I still got hit with them a decent amount.
Well, to be fair, it's a regional. They got to watch out for shitty rogue players who are just on back row decks. Always have to have
Stun
back
players.
row hate in the side.
That's fair.
Yeah. Um, Noah, you played simultaneously the most and least interesting decks of the three of us.
Yeah, well, I abandoned Fiendsmith Hero because,
Sacrilegious.
man, I know. I genuinely feel kind of bad about it
You
because
feel bad.
the deck was so fun and smooth, but I don't know, playing into a Raigeki just doesn't work.
It's
Playing into
rough.
really anything doesn't work, and I didn't have the max amount of charmies to be able to I don't know, to just make sure I stopped them every game because the Fiendsmith cards just aren't enough.
This
because
guy
Lord
had
knows the hero cards aren't doing anything.
this guy had Charmies that he was borrowing from everybody. Two of his Fualos got lost in the mail.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
I had an extra Meowls, so he just grabbed it the night before and was like, "It's good enough."
Yep. I the original plan was three Fua, and then I think it was Wednesday had something. It was like it was delivered Sunday, and I was like, it most definitely wasn't. So that was a
Mhm.
fun morning of just trying to get through the post office. It was probably just stolen or something, which is just so cool. And I love this city, Motor City, baby.
Didn't you? There was a while where you sent your packages to me for that very reason.
Yeah. Well, that was. I think I was living in a dorm.
You might have been. It was like
Yeah,
it was
that
when
was.
I know I had Potter, Mansfield, and Peltier on my mailbox
Yep.
for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. But I played. Sorry, I went on the Fiendsmith Hero tangent, but it's what's it call it? Oh yeah, Fiendsmith, Snake Eye, Kashtira, Azamina. So I decided to play something a little rogue, a little out there.
I like how you
Uh,
replaced the A in sacked with Azamina.
yeah, the deck was really good. I'm not gonna lie. It just having cards that do things is really fantastic.
Yeah. I
I
think
went
this is like
I
the
went
fourth.
six through.
Sorry, go on.
What was that? Oh no, I just went 6-3 at the end of the day. I lost in round eight, but then I was like, I'll stick it out for round nine. Yeah, that deck is really good, and people aren't playing Imperm and Veiler. I think somebody, no, I think they top decked it, but I resolved like the full combo, and then they Impermed Unicorn. So I was like, oh damn, or like going second, their first action was Imperm Unicorn, and I'm like, damn, if they Impermed Ash, I probably just ended on like IP Unicorn. Um, didn't play any Malice, which was just awesome.
How
Maybe
do
that's
you
why I had
keep
so much
dodging it,
fun.
man?
I'm just never going to play against it, and that's good and like healthy both for me and my perception of the game. I don't know what any of the cards do. I don't think I'll ever learn.
Yeah, I mean, you're not playing at Nats this year because you have the bar. Sad.
Yep,
Um,
I know, right?
so I guess you don't really need to, because Malice is probably not surviving past Nats. I'd hope not, anyway.
God, me too.
Yeah. Um,
No, no, deck was awesome, and I was just like playing into boards with five cards that are all like, okay, you need to answer this. My round two, I just was playing against Mitsu Raiziel, and it was they set up I forget some sort of half board. I think I Ash Duo, um, or something like that, and I just went through like four cards of like, okay, Unicorn, stop that, Fiendsmith, stop that, uh, Black Witch, stop that, and then a one card in my hand, and I'm like normal Ash, and he's just like, yeah, well shit.
It feels good when you get in those situations where it's like insane. It's like, all right, bomb card one, response? No. Bomb card two, response? No. Bomb card three? It's like my last opportunity, last chance. It's like, all right, I have the fourth bomb. GG's, man.
Yep, good try. None of these cards use the normal summon.
Because I did that
No.
to a couple people throughout the day. Like I would go, like my hand would be like, I'd have like lifter, emergency, engraver, and then like another like combination play. Like I have a turban hand.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go, okay, engraver, ash, cool. Normal lifter effect, imperm, cool. Emergency. You know what I mean? And, like you
Yep.
just trade for so much interaction. It's just
Because they have to answer it. Fire decks are awesome.
fire
I miss
decks.
the year of fire.
also I don't know how many times you got to do it. Having the Promethean OTK line back was the
Oh,
greatest godsend ever.
yeah. I think I only did it like twice, but it definitely let me round out games with just Ash because I will say the extra in that deck is incredibly tight. Though in hindsight, I would probably, I don't know. Did you use Hita at all? Because I
I
was
used Heat a decent amount. I used Heat
really
to go
okay.
into Promethean a couple times, and I also use it to make SP in a couple of my game states.
Okay. See, I don't think I think the only time I ever saw it was like I already had a way to the OTK and I'm like, "Oh, you ashed me like 2 turns ago. That's right. I had a Hita line here and I just missed it."
No, I
But
was
it
like the one of the like when it came up really like in a very good scenario was like I was in a gummy board state. I had like Charmied my Raziel Mitsu opponent. He ends up a Guska pass. I have a Necroquip up. I have the Lacrima Resummon Requiem, and then I have like an Ashenand. And he had asked me earlier, and I'm like, oh, we have literally the game on board because I can just
Yep.
go normal summon Ash, make it, and then do the entire setup to clear the
Yep.
entire board.
God, those cards are awesome. I will say, I think I played against two or three Mitsurizio. The rest, it was just a rogue ass day though, so that probably has something to do. Okay, I did play against two Cristrons, but I
That deck's
think,
real. That deck's
Yeah,
real.
it's like
yeah,
tier
but
two.
I don't know. I just felt like I was playing through all of the interaction very like I will say Subversion was a house today, during the regional. It just like either people would not expect Black Witch on its own to demand an answer if I was just like, oh well, Deception really gets me nothing here. We'll just go Subversion and out. Well, what's the Crystron spell trap, Nick, the Synchro 7 that they use?
Oh, they end on Dawn Dragster or LS
Yep.
Skeletus.
Yep, it was Dragster, and I used Subversion to out that. I think every time I saw it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that. I don't know if my deck just has more interaction than that one can put up, or if I just ashed him SETI the one game and it won me everything.
It wouldn't surprise me if just Ashingham said he just did it for you.
Yeah,
Well, I
but
also
very
have the break.
fun, very good regional. I'm better at the game, or at least I clicked enough yellow buttons than I felt like I was on that Fiendsmith hero deck. Yeah, good times. Sad I'm not gonna get to play for like 3 months.
It is unfortunate. I do have the top eight breakdown from Lansing because, and it goes from first down to eighth. It goes Memento to Fiendsmith or to Mitsu Raziel to Malice to Crystron Horus to Fiendsmith Memento to Crystron Horus to Fire King to Mitsu Raziel.
Really?
This format is always
Yep.
more diverse than I anticipated it being.
I think there's a level of like if you have the as long as you build accordingly, like you can like play into a lot of stuff. I think as long as your opponent isn't making their like full end board, I think a lot of decks have a lot of chances to play. If your opponent makes the full end board, you're probably losing, but
Mm-hmm.
I suppose that segues us into the next topic, which is my declining mental state. So, for those of you who don't
Mm-hmm.
know, I have given up on Malice. I'm done with this deck. I can't do it anymore. This was.
But
I think
Grant, why?
I'm gonna title this episode of the pod "The Last Straw" or something like that, like a fucking Diary of a Wimpy Kid book.
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, tell us why you've given up. And like
Okay,
this is from the perspective of us, I have been watching him at locals for like the last 3 weeks, going wife mode every single week.
it's been
So
bad.
this was a ticking time bomb to happen.
Okay. This is not gonna make sense, but I think the new support made the deck worse. You know?
Sure,
You
go
should
ahead.
elaborate to us, Malice, newbies. We know nothing.
So the deck before, the mid-range boards you could end on would just win the game, right? You would end on Cryptor 06 and you'd pass, and you have two non-targeting banishes and like two or three hand traps, and that's usually good enough. That is no longer good enough. The mid-range board, like in its current iteration, commits so hard into so many charmies because you can't like draw two Malice names and be fine anymore, right? If you commit into those charmies, you're gonna give your opponent like two or three draws to make the mid range board, and at that point, is that really worth giving him, two or three draws for? That and a lot of Malice lists, I don't necessarily agree with this. I did it for this regional, and I think it came back to bite me in the ass. A lot of Malice lists have cut IP because you just only end on it when you're losing the game. It's kind of like the Typhon for Malice. Um, I don't know. This
Catching
deck
strays,
just
but all right.
sorry.
Typhon catching strays, but all right.
I like to insult Typhon whenever I can.
Mm-hmm.
There's just like, okay, I don't want to insult like the people I dueled against. They were all lovely people. I didn't fight against any weirdos. My first round was Regenesis Cash, randomly a bad matchup. That one I'm not worried about. I lost two. I'm not upset about that one. But the next three people were all worse than me, like categorically. And I lost to two of those three, and I damn nearly lost to the third one. The problem is like,
That the deck kind of just fundamentally doesn't reward skill expression.
I don't even think it's that. I just think there's too many blowout. Like if both players don't draw a blowout, we can have a real game. And especially in the
Hmm.
Malice Mirror, there's so many easy ways to just fucking lose everything you've worked for in the Malice Mirror. There was my fourth round was a Malice Mirror in game one. Um, he made, and again, no disrespect to this guy. If you happen to be listening, you played fine. You beat me, whatever. Um, but he made a lot of very week one Malice mistakes. So like he had four guys on board, right? And usually if I have like a critical number of men, I don't commit to a link two because the best disruptions in Malice is the non-targeting banishes. There are no good non-targeting banishes except for the link twos or maybe the link fours if you get that far, but the link ones and link threes, if you banish them, they just come right back. Or not link ones, the main deck monsters and the link threes, if you banish them, they come right back. So it's not really worth it to do that. So if you make a link two, I'm expeditiously clicking on the yellow button. I'm not letting you get to Splash Mage resolving. Um, and so he made Splash Mage, and I was like, all right, Cryptor banish, and he was like, well, that was unfortunate. He made Haggard, and I was like, all right, O7 banish, and he's like, well, damn, game two. It's like very, I would say, simple mistakes that you probably could have seen coming and like I made a half board that game. It was the generic, mid-range board because I didn't want to commit into Fualos too bad. Um, and it just seemed like something he probably should have known. I don't know. Like this is something you figure out in the fifth hour of the Tenpai Mirror, for example. What the fuck?
Hmm. Hmm.
My cat is fucking with my piano. Hold on. Oh, that's my wife. Mia's outside. She just starts tapping the screen. Anyway, so I think that there are like instances of like high skill expression. I think if you have two people, there's no blowouts. The mirror is like fine. But
But we don't live in that kind of world.
we don't live in
though.
no, this is fantasy world where Fualos and Meowls and Peruli are all banned and Lancia is like at -3. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Lancia is at -3, so if you ever played 3 in your deck, now you can't play like other cards. So just in its current iteration, and this wasn't the case before Allen, because pre-Allen, especially in like before Suda and Suda format, you didn't see so much Malice that you didn't need to board crazy hate for it, or Malice couldn't run away with the game like if you didn't like floodgate it, that people weren't playing the floodgates. Like an imperm did something. Now that it no longer does something, they have to go on to like more powerful things, which cause the Malice game to just not be as fun. All this is suffice to say, like, it got to the point where like there were certain matchups where I would just go second. Like I would make my opponent go first, and I would just board into all the Charmies because like I felt like my odds were better, like going second, only having to worry about Lancia, instead of like going first, having to worry about Lancia, Perulia, Fualos, Meowls, randomly Droll that sometimes like screws you over in game one. So I don't know.
It also doesn't help the case that Malice, inherently speaking, going second is not the greatest. Like the deck,
It is not good
the
going
deck,
second.
like the deck it has very clear, defined spots that if it gets interacted with, it's not gonna have a fun time. Like,
Yeah, I mean, and like fundamentally, like going second's not easy. Obviously, you play enough non-engine that shouldn't be that should be fine, but sometimes you just don't draw it. And as well, like Mitsu is just really good into the Malice end board. Like Mitsu can have its guys banished and then recur them back with Kusanagi. So it's not like banishing something takes it out of rotation forever, like it did against like Fiendsmith Ryzeal. Also, Fiendsmith cards are not as popular as they once were. So the power boost that Malice gets by playing like 5 Bestials isn't there anymore. It just doesn't happen. So this is suffice to say. Also, they took out Link Decoder, which means that like now your 2-card hands that play through 3 interaction, you have different 2-card hands that play through 3 interaction, but most of your 2-card hands play through 2 interaction now. Link Decoder did a lot of work to making sure that a Bestial plus a name played into 3 interaction fine. So
I would very much agree. Link Decoder was annoying.
Link Decoder, I'm not saying it didn't deserve to get banned, but I'm mad that it happened. So I think I said on the podcast when it was banned that I feel like this was a hit that should have come one more. I mean, I'm not disappointed it came now. Obviously, this deck's not really fun to play against, but I felt like it was a hit that Konami would have normally done another ban list later. You know. So all that's to say is I'm not gonna play Malice anymore. I'm done with that. So I figured out that the last couple of years the decks I truly like are decks that are good going second, either through playing a wealth of not engine like Malice or like Mathmech or I guess on release Chimera, or just by like its entire gimmick, not its entire gimmick, or just by the engine being able to push through. And I would say like Vanadium is like this, where the deck was really good going second, but it was a combo deck. The deck I'm going to be playing is probably going to be Mermail.
All right, and how much time have you put into Mermail since pull behind the curtain here? We're recording on Wednesday, so since that Saturday.
I've been playing a lot of Omega with it, but nothing like serious.
Okay, okay. Seeming like it meshes well, it fits.
I've said this before. I think the most fun I have in Yu-Gi-Oh is playing a combo deck going second. Specifically one like Vanadium or like Mermail that's really good going second. That can push into boards really easily. Or like the reason I like Sword Soul back when Sword Soul was out was because they tend to use push into boards so easily.
You should try Snake Eyes Azamina,
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do
Feedsmith,
that.
Kashtira. That deck was
Listen,
crazy.
I've already tried to pill him on the fact that Race is an insanely good deck going second, and it breaks through a crap ton of boards, and its turn one setup's like really good.
The well
He doesn't care.
the well is 2 poison for Race. That's the worst part. That's the worst part about Race. Is I think I would enjoy it if I learned it. That's the worst part.
Yeah,
That's why I
enjoy it till
What do you mean?
reinf-
Okay, you need to explain yourself. What do you mean the well is poison? What's so bad about my
You
deck?
expect me to sit here, face towards a monitor, and look you dead in the eyes. I'm not even looking at your face right now, but I can feel your soul through the fucking ether. You expect me to look at you and say, I'm going to try Race. That is not going to fucking happen. I hate that deck so much.
You could play
Listen.
Snake Eyes.
I'm not going to play Snake Eyes.
I'm just saying, you've gone from one degenerate deck to another degenerate deck, and
God,
now you're
I
clearly
want
going
to
to the
go
most
second
degenerate
with
deck in the
engine.
format.
Come on, man.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no,
a
no,
silly
no.
little-
You said
I just
I
wanna
like
put
the
up-
decks that are good at going second. Now you
No, I want to go
chose-
second. So going second with Mermail is crazy fun.
No, what is your stance? You've known Grant longer than I have, and I feel like my statement's more correct.
What's your statement?
My statement is you play the most degenerate deck in the format.
That's not
Again,
true.
last format that was Malice. The current format, you could make Armate's Malice. I think Mermail is just as degenerate now because it's doing the barrier statue stuff.
Okay, going first with Mermail is not fun. Going first with Mermail is like a knowledge check for your spreadsheet combo. I'm gonna go first because I can do the spreadsheet combo and it's better. But like the fun part of Mermail is when I lose the die roll.
I don't know. I feel like, honestly, I feel like you'd really enjoy Rescue Ace because you're very particular about what you play around when you go first.
And I will tell Race can play if it opens up a decent hand. It can play around whatever you want. You can pick and choose what you lose to.
Yeah, I think that like there are hands in like Mermail like that even like beat Droll. You know, if you open the right hit stuff. So it's not like it's not good into Droll. By no means am I saying don't Droll it, but it's way better into the Charmies. You can usually set up barrier statue with like 2 or 3 draws into Charmies. You can set up like the only hand trap that really hard stops you is exactly Droll. And even then, if you draw like Shadow Squad as a way to get it out of your hand, like that's pretty good. So, I don't know. My thing is like I want to pick a deck for Nats kind of like right now, and I don't see a world where I play anything else. You know, like I could play like Fiendsmith, Mitsu. That deck is pretty good at going second. But then like I was doing test hands with it, and it's like every time you just open like cards that don't do anything.
Blue cards, blue cards.
Well, like there's exactly one blue card that does it, but like sometimes you'll just open like a bunch of stuff, and I don't want to play a deck that's like that weak into Impulse right now, you know?
Yeah.
Plus, like
I don't know. I don't know if that deck is that weak in Impulse.
I feel like
I understand what you're saying, but just generally speaking, I don't think that deck inherently. I think in theory it says, oh, this deck instantly loses, but if it opens up certain hands, like I don't think it cares that much.
Right,
It just
but
depends.
like, you know, Impulse, and then you have like 1 or 2 other hand traps you have to contend with. Maybe you got to draw off of Fualos that they chain to Habakiri, you know.
Then you got to deal with gnomes going
And
second.
you got to deal with Gnomes going second, and like
Gnomons against that deck in particular is not as bad.
Oh, the Fiendsmith
'cause you just have
version,
all the-
it's
you
not
have
as
all
bad,
the
you're
Fiendsmith
right.
cards.
the Fiendsmith version, it's not as
wait,
bad.
yeah.
That I think is the appeal of the Fiendsmith version.
But wait, then if you set Paradise, it doesn't work if you have Desert. Wait, is Desiree a 7?
No, it's a 9.
Oh, it's a 9?
I think it's
That
a
card's
9.
so cool.
Yeah, you can overlay that into the virtual world rank 9.
Ooh, wait, that's your play. 60 card virtual world.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I would,
Wait, the Fiendsmiths are sixes that summon themselves back. Granted would
virtual
go
world locks you.
crazy.
Virtual world locks you into only rank and level 3 and higher monsters. You can't summon links in virtual world.
I don't think that's a pro. Oh well, never mind.
So
I'm
you'll
just straight up
notice
lying to you.
Requiem. You'll
Yeah,
notice
well,
Requiem
okay,
is
fine.
a is a link.
I guess Requiem is kind of important.
Maybe that's gonna be the title of this episode. Requiem can be played in virtual world. Noah Peltier.
Yep. I will say, the one time the cash cards came really good was against Live Twin. If you just rip the Requiem, goddamn, that deck is kind of neutered.
Yeah.
I listen, on the topic of that deck in particular, it
Sure.
did just win YCS how are we
Keto.
saying this name?
Keto,
Keto.
like the
YCS
diet.
Keto. hmm
I suppose
It
this
did
is
just win that event, so
I suppose
deck
I
this is
guess
a
has
you're
good time
right.
to
right?
this is a good
They
time to
didn't run
segue
into me.
talking about the YCS, I reckon.
I guess.
I guess he only mentioned it. So anyway, the point of this is I'm pretty sure I'm playing Mermail for Nats, and then I'll just play Yummy when it comes out because that, you know, I just like Yummy. It's not. I don't even think Yummy's gonna be particularly like crazy, but I think it's good enough. All
He's
right.
gonna lose the pank during Yummy format, and we're gonna come back to this moment, and he's gonna say, "I keep losing the pank or tops. Why
If
does
I
this card
keep
beat my entire board?"
if I keep losing to Pank, I'll play Mermail. This is my plea. If you want me to not play Yummy, play Pankratops. If you don't want to face against Mermail, don't play Pank. That's the deal I'll make with you. It's so stupid. You made a monster combo deck that loses to Pankratops. The world is healing. Um, all right, so YCS Quito. I'll go over the second place first because it's funny. It was Malice again. And the first place,
The deck is Thunder 2.0. It
it's
can't
just-
win an event to save
it's
its life.
fucking impossible, man. And that's the funny part. Is I'm pretty sure no one's gonna play it for Nats for that exact reason. Um,
I don't know. We might see a resurgence.
I think it's probably gonna make a good showing at Worlds, depending on if the ban list for TCG is in effect by then. Because like, we will we have we'll have we'll have it, but will what's it called? The Justice Hunters decks be legal for Worlds? I think so.
I think they might be.
Okay. If they are not legal for Worlds for whatever reason, product, QCR clumping issues maybe. Who could say? But if it's not legal for Worlds, I think Malice is like a crazy, like the best option by far. Mostly just because they don't have the Mitsu cards and the Ryzeal cards are so hit. But if they have Justice Hunters, I think it's just gonna be like Vanquish Soul and that'll be it. The winner of this YCS was Joshua Becerra on Fiendsmith Evil Twin. Are you guys looking at the list currently?
Yep.
Okay, you'll notice they're playing 2 Monster Reborn, Noah.
That card's insane.
It's the quick play Monster Reborn that's like kind of new.
Oh, that doesn't even count.
That counts. That counts.
Yeah, I know it counts. It's pretty good.
Their list looks exactly how you'd expect. They're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18, and if you count cross out and call by 20 non-engine. If you count the Monster Reborn, it's 22. They're playing 2.
Is DD
I just
Crow
realized
kind
they're
of
playing
crazy, or is
2s.
that just me?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
Is DD Crow kind of crazy, or is that just me?
DD Crow is good
I think
because
Crow's got a very
the
playable spot in this format.
it can hit the ritual spell that Mitsu will add back off Kusanagi. So they stay off their second ritual functionally.
Okay.
Um,
Signet mining, is that just that good of an extender?
Can't be. There's all the Signet mining targets in this deck are normal summons. I think they just wanted
Are
to see
they?
more names. But that's kind of weird because like Signet mining can only add the original twins. Like Leela Sweet is a spellcaster. Kissikill Treat is a Kissikill Frost, sorry, is an aqua. So Signet can only add original Kissikill and Leela. But he's already playing 3 copies of the continuous spell that adds a monster. So
Hmm.
I don't know.
That's 9. Like if you do the math, it probably means opening, like by playing 9, you have a high likelihood of seeing 2 in your opener.
Yeah, I mean, there's 9 like copies of those cards. There's also 3 copies of Frost, which I think is a better starter than Leela. Um, I don't know. I feel like
I wouldn't say it's better. Like Leela, if Leela resolves, it's equivalently better because you have more bodies.
yeah, but I mean, if like I don't know, I don't think a card resolving like the ceiling that happens when a card resolves is not necessarily the quality to which it is as a starter. I still think like the Kiss a Kill Frost is better because it gets you the link access like without being hand trapped. Yeah, or I guess you can't hit Kiss a Kill, so you still get to make the link, which still gets you into your Fiendsmith stuff.
That's fair.
So, like Imperm on Leela, if they don't hard draw the treat, the sweet, if they don't hard draw the other Leela, like it's still pretty good. I also think like Signet kind of plays into Droll, which this deck doesn't. Like there's exactly 2 cards that add, and it's Signet and the
Engraver.
password. I forget what this card is called. The Engraver does too, but like
It's Sunny Snitch.
Sunny Snitch, yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
don't know.
this list is playing Typhon. Good card.
Fiends with decks love Typhon. Only deck that Typhon wins you the game in is Fiends with decks.
He's backpedaling already.
I listen. I'm not gonna go against Josh Richmond on this one. He knows better than I do.
Nah, we'll have him on the pod next week to debate you on it.
True. Um, Second place. I don't have the list. It's not showing it to me, but I assume it's Ignis or Malice. Um, Ryzeal Mitsurugi got.
My guess is it's pretty standard. Like
It's yeah.
this, like I don't think again at this point the best decks in the room are pretty much solved. Like we're talking like minor differences and changes are being made across these decks.
Yeah.
Voiceless voice. Hold on. Ryzeal. Oh wait, this is just for X, right? Yeah. Oh no, wait. This is playing like 7 names.
Yeah, your government mandated 6 Ryzeal and 6 Malice names.
Huh.
I don't know why I like think I've been saying government mandated semi limits a lot recently. I don't know why. I just
Hmm.
think it's funny.
Wow, this deck's playing Typhon too. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know what you want me to say. It's a bad card.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ryzeal Mitsu looks like Ryzeal Mitsu. Um, NA champion Ruben. I think, or is Aditya the champion right now? I don't fucking know.
No, Ruben is right now.
Ruben is. TCG or World? One of the
TCG, I
two.
believe.
One
He
of the
might. No,
two.
no, 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 no. He's the world champ. No, he's world.
Paper World
Oh, this
champion.
guy's on.
He got top 16. I'm looking at his list. It is Malice. I'm looking, and I think it is. Yeah, it's Malice. There's nothing too crazy here.
He's main decking Droplet, which is kind of different. Not every Malice deck is on Droplet.
Yeah, Drop It feels really good in Malice. Just because you can like send a use field spell, you can send like a mirror that you're chaining, and then a normal spell that you've activated first in the chain, so you can get like 3 for 1 at a max, but usually like 2 for 1. It's not bad.
It's kind of crazy. It looks like Droplet might be coming up in playability because it seems like more and more people are playing it across the board. It feels like
Yeah,
so. It's kind of cool.
I like Droplet into exactly hitting Binder on the resummon and hitting the Ame on the resummon. There's a lot of stuff that summons itself from the graveyard right now, which I think Droplet is like a format where Droplet can shine. And I think like the stuff that you want to hit is too broad to be able to smack it with Metaltronus.
That's fair.
If it were a more, defined like format, I think, or not defined, but like if it were a less wide format, I think Metaltronus would be better, but it's not. So, Droplet's crazy. I'm looking over the other decks. Blue Eyes got a top. It is Blue Eyes.
It's got the Eli tech in it, which is funny.
The Spheres into
Fallen
Albaz.
of Albaz,
Mhm.
yeah.
We should explain. So the Eli tech is the Spheres into Albaz, and I think this is like a known factor for a bit at this time. But Eli played it in Dragon Link at the regional that he won like 2 or 3 years ago, and so we all call it the Eli tech. So every time a new Dragon deck comes out, we're always like, all right, let's throw an Albaz in, and we will give it like a week, and then we'll take the Albaz out of respect.
Yup.
I did that with Tenpai for a little bit. Um, Rico's playing Manju and Mitsu Raizel. Oh, Fiends with Mitsu Raizel. No, there's no Raizel card. Just Fiends with Mitsu. It's Fiends with Mitsu.
That list is interesting. It's got a lot of stuff going on in there.
I
Yeah.
see
So
Manju of 10,000
I really
hands.
don't
Is that standard?
I don't get the why he's playing the one of Manju, but it's there.
I feel like you'd be better off just playing like Diviner and like an Arclight in the extra.
I don't know if you can afford to. Like the extra deck is really tight.
Mm. In any case. Um, Christian. It was Horse Christian. It looks like Horse Christian.
He did not get his Imseti ashed.
No, he did
Santoli has
not.
pretty much got the entire player base to literally play his list from Providence, and I think people at this point have just come to realize that it is just there's no doubt or discussion. His build is probably just the best build of the deck, and there's nothing to be changed or updated.
Yeah. Whenever your deck is played by Santoli, the development on the deck pretty much ends because you've already found the best version because Santoli played it. Um, I think Santoli played Spheres in like one list, and he mentioned in a Centurion Discord server, and every Centurion player played it for like the next 3 months.
It was the most threatening part of the Centurion board, so Santoli was right.
Yeah,
That is
sometimes you are just that good at the game.
sometimes, and then that's
We'll
the
get there eventually.
You're very optimistic for me. Um,
Well, and we will, and you will too if you keep listening to the pod.
true, true. Um, so that is the keto results. We don't know 11 of the deck list. We likely never will. Um,
Well, welcome to South America events, Central
yeah,
slash South America
they need to
events.
stream
Just
these
how it
things,
is.
man.
Yeah, but Konami just doesn't feel the need to.
For
So
whatever reason. All right, and with that, the last thing I thought we could talk about today, to fill out the hour, was we're starting probably Nats preparation within the week or so. So what are you guys? I know Noah, you're not really preparing for Nats, but in a world where you were, I suppose this question then is more for Nick. What are we doing to prepare for Nats?
so currently speaking, I'm just trying to look at what the widespread metagame looks like going into Nats, because like we do technically have two sets that'll be coming out before Nats happens. We have the new Battle Legends set, and that set offers a lot of interesting cards, but like, but I don't know if any of these cards make a metagame impact. Like we get the Punk stuff, we get the Gem Knight stuff, we get Orchist, we get some new Dragon Maid stuff,
Yeah, I think the
and all
most
these
that we're
cards are
gonna
really
see is
cool.
like maybe you fight against an Orcust, maybe you fight against a Punk.
And that's like that's on the optimistic side. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's so hard to be optimistic, especially with like a deck like Orcus. Like its benefit to playing that deck is the fact that it gets to play the Fiendsmith stuff where Malice doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
but it still loses to all the crap that Malice loses to. So it's like,
Doesn't Orcust also lose to Droll, or no?
uh, depends on the hand. More often than not, no.
Okay.
Does the new stuff change that?
The only thing that changes is the new Link One searches a card.
Okay.
Generally speaking, the deck doesn't need the search cards unless you play like certain versions of it. Like if you draw the deck after it searches on the Link One, like you turn off the Fiendsmith like activation cards like Engraver and Tract, but they still can access it just via their engine. So
Okay.
I don't know. That deck's probably got the most potential of the battle set. And then when we go into Duad, there's a decent amount of decks in Duad that I think have a shot and actually might do something. Like right now, a couple people in our group are testing VS. I think that deck's got I think that deck has legs to stand on into Nats format. I think it's gonna be pretty good. I think a deck like this, I think the Striker stuff's got a lot of potential. I'm just not good with Striker cards. I've not put the time in to know how to play that deck like optimally, but that deck seems like it's got a lot of potential. And this is like sounds kind of crazy, but I think the Luna Delight deck seems like it's got a lot of potential. It's kind of like an OTK deck slash like board breaking deck. It seems like it's got a lot of going there for it, but I haven't like given that deck a ton of testing at the current moment.
You play a Tri Brigade monster in that list. I know that.
Huh.
Um,
Uh,
it's Fractal, I think.
Yeah, oh, that's right. You play Fractal because he dumps the White Hound that summons the guy from deck that searches, and then you get to add a card, then pitch a card. It does like the entire setup on its own or something like that.
I'm just happy that they're playing my boy Fractal.
Of course you are.
Yeah, I'm
Shout
a
out
simple man.
Fractal.
Um, I think once we get a chance to record it, we're gonna be doing a couple videos that like kind of shows how we're preparing for Nats. I don't know how many of us are actually like taking Nats too seriously this year. I know a lot of us are like not the most excited just because of the format itself, um, which I think is understandable. But we'll have to see. I think a couple of us are gonna be recording like the first session. We're gonna do we're gonna record like a tier list of where we think everything's gonna be and like how much we should expect to play against it day of. Second thing would be like what hand traps and such are like good against those decks, and then maybe next couple weeks you just do like games and talking about our play in it and such.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna
I
miss
think
out on the Nats grind.
you will this year, sadly.
What a shame.
We
There's
could
always
do this
next
for
year.
like a we could do this for a YCS like later in the year. I don't know if there are any that like are close to Michigan.
There is. I think we have one later in the year that I have to go look and see what the actual dates are. But there is one later in the year. That is for sure a possibility.
Yeah, I know I've got
YCS Lansing?
YCS Lansing.
That'd be
That'd
very
be
funny if they did that.
crazy.
It'd be very
I mean,
crazy.
weirder things have happened. They put Nats in Indianapolis this year.
Yeah.
This has been a good year for Midwest representation.
I would agree.
Yep.
But
And like Nats, Lansing Regional, this pod blowing up. I got recognized twice. So shout out to both of the people. I don't think I got either of their names funny enough.
One was Lucas. One was Lucas.
That's right, the Judge Lucas. Shout out. Yeah, that was very funny.
Yeah.
But I think as we go into Nats, I think I sadly I really hate to say this. I think as we go into this upcoming format, the best decks are just still the same decks. Like it's mainly just gonna be like Raziel Mitsu, the Malice deck, and then we'll have a few more rogue options that are gonna be dispersed throughout the metagame. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Like these decks, the decks are the top decks for a reason, and I don't think these new cards, inherently speaking, bring them down a notch to, or I don't think these new decks are on the same par or the same level as the other decks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm looking at like Sam's Mermail list and I'm like, damn, there is a like 30% chance I take this card for card list to Nats with me.
Yeah, it's that's the crazy part is like I'm in a position where it's like I want to do well at Nats, and I genuinely at this point pretty sure that I'll probably be playing VS because the deck feels like it's got a lot of power, at least into what it feels like the metagame will be. But
Are any of us playing like Malice or Mitsu?
I would expect like people like Drew and Jenny to be playing those decks for sure.
Gotcha. Because I knew like up until this point we just kind of assumed I'd be playing Malice for Nats, which I will not be.
Well, you said that when you bought it. You said I'm gonna play this deck till Yummy comes out, and then
I did it.
this will rad.
I think that listen, I think that me not playing Malice anymore is a defensible and based thing to do.
I'm not judging you. I just think it's really funny.
Yeah. Listen, man. Well, like I always feel like I buy decks a little too quickly. Like I don't play a deck for long enough. So I've been trying to do that more often. And so when I bought Malice, I was like, all right, this deck's gonna be good till after Nats. I'm gonna play it till after Nats. And then well, this past regional happened. I was like, I'm not doing this.
You just love the deck so much that you feel like you're doing a disservice to it by continuing to play it.
Yeah, you know, if you love something, let it go, and if you hate something, you should also let it go. And I'll let you guys
E-
decide which one of those it is.
Exactly.
So, all right. Anything else you need to talk about before we call it off for the day?
Oh, I did want to make one comment because I know we weren't really talking about what decks are in topping regionals, but you see, there's a really cool base list that topped over in Fairbanks over this last weekend.
Do I have to Google this list?
I will post the link.
Fairbanks.
And
Please.
I'm gonna post this, and I'm gonna you two can just shut up and sit here while I literally
Oh
hype
my
this man
God!
up.
There are two people. Oh wait, those top four. What is
This
60
man-
cards.
This man made top 4 with Fiendsmith, Horus, Bestial, Thunder Dragon. This dude is the GOAT. I love Thunder. I love Beatsmith cards. I love Horus cards. This guy knows where it's at. His head of the metagame is like, I'm just gonna play gas, and he's going for it. And this deck's really cool because he gets to do that.
I
Yeah,
think
that is a lot of gas.
I think people are really underestimating how far gas can get you right now. Like, I think with some of the best, like not tier one, but some of the best position decks right now are Mermail and Memento, which are like not really like tons of hand trap stacks. They're just kind of pushing through shit.
No, I felt that playing Snake Eye. A whole Crystron set up its board, and I was like, okay, I have Engraver, Black Witch, Ash, and like Unicorn. I'm fine.
Yeah, that's been like my thing in like just the preliminary test with Mermail. I'm like, I'll draw an Ash Blossom, like Ash Blossom and 4 different water monsters, and I'm like, I think I'm fine.
Yeah.
But no, I all I'm saying is this deck's really cool. I'm very happy to see that people are still playing Thunder cards. I really would I want to see this deck as support. I love Thunder with so much of my heart.
I'm in a really awkward position with Thunder because I do like the deck. It's my toss deck of choice. Of the 4 like toss decks, I think if I had to play the
Let's just say he doesn't want to play the same deck as me because if he has to play the same deck as me, he has to list to my reasoning and he doesn't
no,
want to do that.
it's because I hate you and I wouldn't want to see you happy. So it's like
Volcano
I
Los Dos?
like Thunder, but I don't like it as much as Nick does. Every time he's like Thunder top, I'm like Thunder, and but I can't get like too into it because I do like the deck. It's like I
Floodgate
can't be
tops.
emotionally dishonest.
Okay, you can't just call Thunder Floodgate. Just because it has Colossus does not mean it is just
You can't call it a
Floodgate
floodgate
Turbo.
deck just because it has a floodgate in it. Listen, dog.
Yeah.
The point of Mermail going first is you are summoning the barrier statue. I own that shit.
You think I'm happy that Thunder does that? You think that's my favorite part about Thunder, that it ends on Colossus? You mean that people complain that I ended on a mistake?
I personally remember some person in Team Evo being very excited when Colossus was unbanned. I'm struggling to recall who, but I think they were the only one that was excited to see the floodgate back.
Listen, it changes how the deck can play because having more than
Uh-huh.
one Colossus means you can tribute it and use it as a link, like a glorified link one.
So
So
yeah, so like you get two floodgates out.
So funny story about Colossus, right? So the ban list, I think that was the April of 24 list that Colossus came back to 1, and I was working. This is back during the ban list always comes out when Grant is busy era. There were like 4 or 5 ban lists in a row that came out while I was at work and couldn't look at them immediately. This was one of them. I was doing like a computer install at one of our branches. I work in IT. And so I'm installing the computers, and I'm like, it's taking like all day, and it finally finished at like 3 or 4 o'clock. And I get in my car and I look at my phone and I see the ban list chat is gone fucking bananas. And so I'm looking at the ban list. And I'm like, oh, Baron is banned. Savage is banned. Colossus is at 1.
That I'll tell you that week when that happened, that was a glorious day at locals. I went 4-0 with Thunder, fastest 4-0 in the West. It was a great day.
Stupid Shout out to topping with Thunder in a format that I feel
As
like should be
Lancia, everyone,
Lancia
yeah.
plus Fua plus Perulia plus Meowls plus L plus ratio format.
Yeah, again, mad props to the guy. I don't know how, but he did it. Good on him, man.
Shout out to where's Fairbanks?
Part of me just wants to say Virginia based on absolutely zero information.
Fairbanks, Alaska.
God damn it. I was a little bit
That's
off.
not doing well for the odds of why this deck topped.
Yeah.
I think enough said. Shout out to Alaska. You guys let Thunder Dragon top.
Listen,
other
you made
top-
my day
the
when
other
I saw
top-
this, so.
The other top was Salad, just so you know, Noah.
Oh, that list where he was playing Mole. Oh my god.
It's crazy watching like a deck top that you like played like a while ago, you know? Because you're just like, why are you playing these terrible cards?
Yeah.
So, all right, and I think with that we will see y'all next time. Also, I didn't tell anybody this, but I think the footage for this video is going to be Putt Putt saves the zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so
So that's something we get to keep a secret until, obviously you're watching me save the zoo currently. You've been watching me save the zoo for an hour. I think I
Hmm.
may have run out of zoo to save at this point.
Next time it'll be Hearts of Iron 4 gameplay, and I'll get through like a year.
Our viewership will drop to 0. All right,
It'll be awesome.
goodbye.
Bye.
Adios.
Play good decks. Don't play. I mean, play hero if you want to, but play good decks.